Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Jarrell Miller has failed in his attempt to get his drug ban shortened, so Big Pharmacy Miller is going to be out until at least the middle of June. So see here on screen, Jake Donovan, Boxing Scene, reporting on the Nevada State Athletic Commission ruling on Miller's case. I mean, the way it's reported, it kind of feels like it was almost like a parole hearing. But if you look at the second tweet first, so Miller was issued a backdated 2-year suspension in December 2020, stemming from positive drug test produced ahead of a cancelled July 2020 fight with Jerry Forrest. Miller sought but was denied a 2.5-month reduction from suspension during Wednesday's hearing. The tweet up top, it obviously goes through that, unanimously votes for the unbeaten Jarrell Miller to remain on suspension through June 16, 2022. However, a compromise was reached that he will be eligible for license June 17 as long as he continues/completes random drug testing program. So Jarrell Miller fought to try come back early, get a couple of months shaved off that drug ban. He has failed, and we'll get to the post that he's put up on his Instagram story. So he says, one day the whole truth will come out, but until then, F it, I'll be the bad guy. See you sorry sons of June 17. So Jarrell Miller vowing to be back June 17 after his failed attempt to get a couple of months shaved off his drug ban. So I'm quite interested, and I guess anyone who's followed this channel for any length of time knows that, this sort of issue with Jarrell, Big Pharmacy Miller, I can't help myself. I have to keep coming back to it when there's news, especially when Miller tries to make out that there is something that, implying that someone's wronged him, that he's a victim here, because he says the whole truth will come out. Well, I can tell you one truth right now. Jarrell Big Pharmacy Miller has failed multiple drug tests. That is a truth, that Miller is a multiple times over drug cheat. And it just happened this last time. He was due to face Forrest, and he got caught with a substance in his system. He tried to say it was from a penis pill. I mean, make of that what you will. I mean, I guess some people would sort of say, well, why would he say that to embarrass himself? I think at this point, after the time with Anthony Joshua, harken back to, earlier in 2019, when he failed a drug test, not just one, but multiple, with multiple substances in his system. So, the whole thing there, he said that 2 of them, injectable substances, HGH and EPO, were part of a medical procedure. I mean, come on, pull the other one. And now he tried to say it was a penis pill. Jarrell, come on. We were not born yesterday. And whatever your truth is, I'm not sure anyone really cares to hear it, because it'll sound so outlandish as not to be believed. What is a fact is you've failed multiple drug tests. But boxing is a very forgiving sport. I know at the time, a lot of people, when he failed this most recent drug test ahead of that Forrest fight, a lot of people said, ban the guy, ban him for life, give him a lengthy ban or out of the sport completely. But boxing has a short memory. And I think it is one of these sorts of things, even at the time when these things happen, you're all fired up, you're really going in and going, this guy, he's trash, this guy is putting people's lives at risk, all that sort of stuff. But there is something to be said for time healing wounds, and people, I'm sure most people probably had forgotten about some of, Miller, his antics, and it's sort of, the degree of outrage it lessens over time. Plenty of instances in the sport where people have come back, and Miller has obviously been biding his time, and he is determined to come back. Remembering he left millions on the table when he sort of, with that mishap, the drug testing failures for the Joshua fight. And there was some court action at one point initiated by his promoter, Dimitri Salita. I sort of lost sight of that where it got to. But regardless, Jarrell Miller, his truth, who cares really what it is? He is going to come back, and a lot of people won't like it, but it kind of is what it is. There is plenty of instances, even in the heavyweight division, where there are people who've failed tests in the past, and they've come back, and, people don't mention it that often. Remembering Luis Ortiz and his famous failed test in 2017, claiming, he'd forgot to inform VADA of some blood pressure medication. Make of that what you will. Alexander Povetkin, another well-publicized case. So this is a sport where people are trying to crib an advantage, and if people can get it through microdosing or whatever, they'll try. The trick for them is not getting caught. Obviously, Jarrell Miller's just not very good at it because he's been caught multiple times, 3 times on the record over the course of his combat sports career. So clearly the guy needs to hopefully play it straight. He is getting drug tested at the moment by VADA, but how stringent and strenuous that sort of testing regimen is, unclear. But some of these guys always at the edge, at the forefront of the science, trying to outrun the current testing protocols and such of the day, trying to crib an advantage. This is not new. It's been happening in the sport for decades. Clearly, Miller just keeps getting caught and is not very good at it. But I think the whole thing with Miller, there'll be a place for him somewhere. Maybe Matchroom and Top Rank, who promoted him in recent years, and obviously Miller was signed on with Top Rank and didn't even have a fight before he torpedoed his own career to some extent and got this 2-year drug ban. Remembering that first time with Anthony Joshua, his boxing license had lapsed, so he hadn't even sort of renewed it. So the only punishment he was given was effectively a wet bus ticket slap over the hand, and that was from the sanctioning body, the WBA, who said, look, we're going to drop you from the rankings. But for that Forrest fight, he had his license. It was just a couple of weeks out from the fight, and he got pinged. So Miller, his truth, who cares what it is, but he's going to come back, and some people won't like it. Others will be like, look, this guy, he's got a mouth, and he could be good for the heavyweight division. Others will just want to see him come back to be off the juice so they can see him get smashed, that he can get beaten, because Miller, with his freakish engine that he had, the come forward, try to grind you into the dust, Energizer Bunny style that just he never seemed to quit. If he loses that engine to some degree, becomes a much more beatable fighter. And let's face it, what have the last couple of years done for Miller being out of the ring? He's a guy with the sort of style, the pressure that he's putting on his body. He's carrying a lot of muscle. There's all sorts of, what ifs about his career and what could happen. So it is intriguing at the same time, and I'm sure a lot of people do want to see him get smashed, while others will want to see him not get picked up by anyone. And perhaps there will be, a sort of ban on him to some extent by big-time promoters. Maybe they won't want to touch him with a 10-foot barge pole. We'll have to see. But he is a character. I'm sure he's going to be ramping up his activity as June 17 approaches. Who cares what his truth is? I think it's garbage anyway. He is a drug cheat. Big Pharmacy Miller, set to return. Failed this time to get his drug sentence reduced, but he will come again by the look of it. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.